Prosperity isn't about what you have, it's about what you hold within. It's the calm that comes from inner peace, the confidence that grows from creativity, the wisdom that flows when you finally give yourself permission to just be. Because I always say that success moves at the speed of execution, and sometimes that execution begins with simply creating space for stillness. Let's get into today's session.
Here we go! Nicole Johnson, Nicole Johnson, Nicole Johnson, let's go!
Welcome to today's episode of Prosperity Conversations. I am your host, the Nicole Johnson, founder of the Wealthy Women Lifestyle, where we redefine success from the inside out. And today's conversation is about art, peace, and prosperity. I'm already feeling my zen with that one. This is the kind of peace that starts within. My guest is a gifted artist, teacher, and the founder of Canvas and Quotations, where she uses art as a pathway to healing and personal empowerment. It's my kind of journey. Although she's been creating art since her teenage years, for her it's more than a hobby. It's therapy. You guys hear me say all the time, well, a lot of what we do is therapeutic. It's the connection, and it's how she's navigated life's most challenging seasons. Now she teaches women to embrace creativity as a tool for silent perfectionism. Oh, let's see. We're gonna silence that perfectionism. We're gonna close out comparison, and we're going to eliminate self-criticism and to rediscover joy all in the process. You guys ready for today's guest? Let's bring it to the stage and give us some claps up. Give us some claps up. Hello, hello, hello.
Hey,
Hi, how
Nicole.
are you?
I'm very well, thank
Listen,
you.
good. I'm so glad to have you here. Go ahead and do a brief introduction, and then we'll jump right into today's conversation.
Okay, I'm going to try to be short and sweet. So my name is Alka Chopra, it's on the screen. And I'm a registered dietitian by training. And that is my bread and butter, most part of it. But at the same time, I also teach women therapeutic art. I focus a lot actually on women's health because I find that as a missing gap.
Mm-hmm.
Needs are often undermined or not talked about. Although over the few years I've been seeing more and more talk about it. But more than that, as women, we devalue ourselves.
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean.
So that's where I bring in art. I am really into art and using art as your wellness system, as a strategy to be more confident in what you do, and more than that, believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm. Excellent, excellent. So this conversation starts in one place every time for every guest. What does prosperity mean to you?
Yeah. So prosperity, it's I think it's very subjective. So for some people, prosperity means, we say, okay, you need to make money to be prosperous and all that stuff. But the reality is, yes, you need money, not undermining money. To do things, you need money. But more than that, to even earn that money, you need to be internally happy. You
Mm-hmm.
need to be at peace with yourself, because that is the way you can get more confidence in your abilities. You can definitely do more with your time. And more than that, I think we need to be in a positive space,
Yes.
because if you're not in the positive space, you cannot do anything. So for me, that is prosperity. When you're
Oh, I love
prosperous
it.
in
I,
your mind, in your brain, rather than being materialistic and how much money I have in my bank account.
mm-hmm. And so when you talk about prosperity being from the inside, from internal calm and strength, which I love, absolutely love, and think it's beautiful. How has art help you create that peace for yourself?
Hmm. So I started making art at a very young age. It was
Mhm.
really, if I go back in time, I started making art in grade 9. And it was a school project, and then when I started making art, when was making the project, it gave me so much joy that
Mm.
I was so engrossed in it, and I got a really good grade. I still remember I had used silver paper, gold paper, and sparkle, and like a grade 9 young girl, you like color, you like vibrance, and all that stuff.
Yes.
And then gradually that became like a summer vacation project. Every summer vacation, I used to drive my mom, take me to that time we were in India. Now I'm in here in Toronto. Go to the local craft store and get whatever supplies and ideas to make something. And that kept on going on and on and on as to. And then later on, you do university, and then all that gets pushed aside. And then obviously I got married. The early years of my marriage were very difficult, like very
Mhm.
very difficult. And I had
Right.
my son in the first year. So for me at that time, it was my way of changing my own mindset. You know what, that I have to make this marriage work. It's very
Right.
easy to walk away, but it's very difficult to make things work for you.
Hmm.
So that is where it became more and more. And then I used to just gather like whatever I had in the house. I remember rolling newspaper and making, making like, what do you say, pipes out of it, and making like a jewelry box, just attaching things and painting, just
Right.
those kind of things. Yeah. So, and then of course, after the kids. So now I have two kids. Now my daughter is 27. My son is 33. So it's a different. It's really many many years. And then I started making gifts for my family for Diwali, for birthdays and stuff like that. And then it kept on evolving and on going on and on and on. So that's sort of my journey. But during all along this journey, what I found was my own internal confidence in myself, it kept increasing.
Mm.
In the beginning, what happens with a lot of people is that, oh, my art is so ugly, because the people are in the comparison mode. Now, I'm not comparing myself with a fine artist. I'm not, because I'm not a fine artist.
Right.
I have the desire to be a fine artist. Fine artists are amazing. Their work is gorgeous. I mean, the landscapes, portraits, and whatever they do, it's like, but I'm not comparing. So, what makes me happy is throwing some glue, throwing some paper, throwing some buttons or stuff. It's not, there's no particular formula over there. So that takes me away from perfection, from being in the comparison mode. I think comparison kills anyone's self esteem and motivation. So that is what art, like, to me is, and it's a process.
Absolutely. That sounds amazing. And what you're saying with helping her find her own prosperity really ties directly into the mission of the She Economy Hub, which is my nonprofit organization. And right now, we're currently in our giving campaign. You can
Hmm.
check us out. But what we're doing is we're looking to sponsor 20 women to come to our Vision and Empowerment Retreat local in Dallas. And it really is to help women come into a to connection with community
Hmm.
so that they can find the version of themselves that
Right.
helps them go on and succeed. So
Hmm.
put out this call for speakers for the prosperity conversations. I had no idea who would answer that call, right?
Hmm.
I did not know who would answer that call. So what you're speaking of is in alignment both with the nonprofit, but also with the retreat that's in.
Hmm.
So we do 3 days of motivating, inspiration, and just pouring into the ladies so that they can come, relax, release, and rejuvenate, and
Hmm.
with clarity, confidence, and control. So, anybody who's interested, please check us out as we have a buy one, get one free. So, you can bring a buddy. You do not have to do this alone, or
Mm-hmm.
you have a Saturday day pass if you can only make it on the weekend. So,
Okay.
I want to move into talking about um, when we really have a transformation, right? We start moving into those transformations. We start looking at how the art helps us build that confidence, right? And when you get to that point where you're starting to understand who you are, how do you help them move beyond that, because they're in that depth of dark or lonely or wherever that pain part is, right? And
Right.
then they get into the art therapy and they discover something. That's that revelation portion. How
Yeah.
do you help them start going and moving through the transformation?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna share a story with you on that one. But that story is with men, but it applies to women as well. So this is many years ago. I was doing a presentation for men who have been through. I mean, they have been in trouble and they have been in relationship issues. So they were also having custody battles for their children. So I was
Mm,
doing a session on stress management for them. And one of the activities in the stress management was simply a grid paper, right? I gave them the grid paper, and there were about 20 men sitting in the room. I gave them the grid paper, and I gave them colored pencils from the dollar store. And I said, you know what, just draw a shape and then color each square in whatever color you want. There is no rules, nothing. And they
okay.
all looked at me like I am from outer space or Mars. They said, well, we've never picked up a color pencil ever in our lives. What are we going to do here? I said, you know what? Just do. If you want to draw a tree, you draw a tree. You want to draw a circle, you draw a circle. If you want to draw a heart, you draw a heart. Do whatever. Just draw one shape. Anyway, so they did that. Nicole, within 5 minutes, not, and there was some music playing in the background, light, very instrumental, really lovely music. Within 5 minutes, none of them were even looking up to talk to each other. It took
Mm,
all that, just 5 minutes. They were so engrossed in coloring those. Some of them were trying to color inside the lines. I said, it's okay, you can color outside the lines and have fun with it. But I gave them, like, I did not have the whole day to do it. So I have only 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, I had to literally stop them. I said, you know what, we got to talk now on this. You can take this at home. You can even take the color pencils. But the all I wanted to do was you to experience it,
right.
right? So when you get color and mud and clay and glue on your hands
Mhm.
and on your clothes, on your face, on your hair, like wherever, it is such a delightful experience. So
Okay.
when you start on a scrap piece of paper
Mhm.
and then you build on the layers. So the layers to me are part of your personality. All of us we are in layers.
Yes.
We have a happy side, we have a sad side, we have a side as a mom, we have a side as a wife, as a sister. So every role that women, we all have different roles. So to me, they are all layers. And when you make art, any kind of art, whether you do fine art, whether you do, I do a lot of mixed media. So even that is done in layers. So it is your layers that come into effect when you are making a piece.
Mhm.
And the final outcome really is a reflection of how you are. Some people use muted colors in their piece. Some people use bright colors in their piece. Some people use just monochromatic colors in their piece. It also depends on what you're feeling in that moment,
Mm.
right?
Okay.
So yeah, so it all depends. There's so many things to it. We could be talking all day on it. But
Mhm.
the piece that you really make is a reflection of your personality. And
Mhm.
when you see that piece coming from a blank paper to something that people look at it and they look, wow, you made this.
Mm.
So that is such a like a big boost to your self-esteem, your own confidence. And then you look at it and you're like, wow, yeah, I did it. I made it. Like the paintings and the pieces that I made for my family, I'm talking 20 years back, they still hang in there. People, no one wants to part with it. They
Mm.
still hang in my parents' home, my friends, my sisters, my brother, everyone's home. They're still there.
Okay.
So
And
it's very it makes you very happy, and that's what prosperity is really.
I love it. I love it. And so, because I wasn't sure who would answer the call for these conversations, it means a lot to me that you did. And so, if someone else is watching and they have a conversation that they want to have about their journey, their definition of prosperity, and how they're using that definition to help our community, you can go ahead and drop a line at Prosperity Conversations 25 and join us the same way we're sitting here today. So I have one question before we close.
Mhm.
What do you hope every woman who creates art or even just really consistently takes time for herself learn about? What do you hope that they learn about prosperity?
So loneliness is a very common thing among women, very common, especially because as women, we raise our children, we give them so much time, and then when the children are out and about on their venturing, even they've got to explore life, that's where loneliness sometimes comes into picture, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of women, they don't know with their time. I had a patient this morning talking to me about this, right? So then it is really, so prosperity over there comes into picture that when you make art, you are doing something for yourself, you're
Mhm.
doing something for with your time, and time will fly. Trust me, once you start working on a project, time will fly. You will not even realize, oh, that it was like I sat down at 6 o'clock and suddenly it's like 11 p.m.
Mhm. That's
So
true.
it actually it's me time. For me, it is me time, that when I'm working on a piece, and I might just be even watching a video actually on art, learning something new, or learning to enhance my skills or something like that. So it is really me time. It is my time which I spend with myself. And when if I spend that time in a positive space, and that is to me the best thing I can do for myself, because that has spill over on everything that I do, every conversation I have with my family, friends, like anybody. It just a direct, it's a direct reflection, or yeah.
I love that. And Alka, thank you for sharing your art, your heart, and your wisdom. And you reminded us that prosperity is not found in what we buy, it's found in who we become. And when we give ourselves permission to create, to rest, and to grow, we
Mm,
can really truly accomplish anything.
yeah.
To everyone who's watching, prosperity isn't about perfection, it's progress with purpose. And prosperity is also not something that you chase, it's something that you choose. I am the Nicole Johnson, and this has been another episode of Prosperity Conversations. And until next time,
Thanks,
bye.
everyone.